And we are back at it again, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for another week of the Transit Olympics. You know, you guys did a sensational job last week when we were looking at the Fruit Roll-Up Challenge. Right now, backstage, back behind me, I have our guests rolling up, representing 6th, representing 7th, representing 8th grade for the SSC, the Super Sock Challenge and Sliding. So make sure that you have your slippery socks on. We've got a tape measure ready to go. Find a safe place in your house, and this is what it's going to look like. Because we had our bronze medalists be 7th grade, they're going to go first this week. Where are my 7th graders at? Let's do this. All right. Slow clap. First competitor, here we go. Oh, he's almost had a blowout. Almost a shoe blowout. I think you're going to have to go back and maybe be disqualified. He's going to get a do-over. That's fine. This is the Olympics. How about our second competitor? Let's go. Here we go. No slippery socks. That's all about warm-ups here at the Olympics. And there we go. Stop. We're at 144 for 7th grade. Come on, 7th grade. Let's go again. Let's go, Carrie. 3, 2, 1. 144 plus 115. 144 plus 115. Good job, 7th grade. All right, 6th grade was second. Here they come. Let's go. Even a longer run-up this time. Oh, my goodness. All the way downtown, 180. We have 180 on the tape. 180 for the first of 6th grade. The old Gen Mac right now with the slide. It keeps coming. 176. 176, 180 together. Here we go. All right, our champions from last week. The big slide. Woo, baby. We have brought it 150. 150 right there. 150. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this will tell the tale between the bronze, the gold, and the silver. Sama with the speed, the man! Oh my goodness! It's up the Richter scale! It's up the Richter scale! We have our champion, gold winner again! Gold winner! It is back to 8th grade, back-to-back weeks. Yes! All right, and we will see you next week on the Transit Olympics. Woo!
What's up, Transit? My name is Corey, and I'm so glad we get to spend some time together, even if it's virtually, on Sunday mornings. Thank you for being a part of it with us. And here's something that I know is true about you because it's true about me as well. We all want freedom. We all want freedom in our lives. We want more freedom. We maybe need less freedom. We want freedom, though. You might not use the word freedom, but you might say things like, well, I want my parents to treat me more like an adult. You might say, I want to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, with who I want to do it with, and I don't want anybody to tell me who I can and cannot hang out with. You might say that. Or you might say, I just want to be left alone. But all of those things goes back to freedom. We all want freedom in our lives, but here's the struggle. You don't have complete freedom. In fact, I don't even have complete freedom in my life, but especially as a middle school student, you are stuck in a pretty difficult spot sometimes where you're not a kid anymore, but you're also not an adult yet. Kids don't have any freedoms. They don't have any choices. They are directly connected to their family and to their parents. They are completely dependent, but adults have a lot of choices and a lot of freedoms, and they are not as dependent on their family as they used to be. But as a middle schooler, you are stuck somewhere in the middle with a little bit of freedom because you're not a kid anymore, but you don't have all the freedom as an adult might have. So what do you do with your desire to have more freedom in your life? Now, you could go the sketchy route, and you could lie, or you could sneak around behind your parents' back, or you could do things that are a little bit shady to get some of that freedom that you desire. But we all know that doesn't feel great. That's not the way we want to live our lives, and it's that gut feeling where you go, this just isn't right. And doesn't it always have a way of coming back around and getting us in trouble anyway? You might get that freedom for just a moment when you do it the wrong way, but it's going to come back and hurt you in the long run or hurt somebody else. So what do we do with our desire for more freedom in our lives? And I think it goes back and it starts with your family. And family can mean anything. It could be mom and dad, it could be step-parents, it could be adopted parents, it could be grandma and grandpa, but family holds the keys to freedom. And what do I mean by that? We're going to unpack that, and we're going to look at a story in Scripture and at a verse in Scripture, but most importantly, we're looking at a note from a guy named Paul. And Paul wrote a lot of letters back in biblical times, and a lot of them make them into the New Testament. Paul cares a lot about people. Paul had an experience with God that changed his life for the better, and he began to follow Jesus and to lead the very first church movement. And Paul cares about people so much that he writes a lot of letters trying to help people do life better and have a better faith. So Paul writes this letter to a church in a place called Ephesus, and we find it in the book of Ephesians chapter 6 in our Bibles. But Paul says this, hey, I want to help you do life better, so try this. Paul says in Ephesians chapter 6, honor your father and mother, that it may go well with you and that you may enjoy life. And what does honor your father and mother have to do with freedom? We'll get there. But first, what does honor mean? Honor just means respect them, care for them, love them, help them out, obey your family. It just is a way to say we want to care and love our family so much more. And Paul says we do that so that we may enjoy life, so that it may go well for us, because Paul wants it to go well for you and for me. Paul knows something about us. Even though he wrote this thousands of years ago, he might not have had social media, he might not have had technology, but Paul knew that we desired freedom. We desired life to go well. And he's saying, hey, if you want that freedom, honor your father and mother. Now, I've got a new friend here. His name is Eli. So, Eli, why don't you come on over here? Eli's going to help me explain this. It might look a little bit something like this when we talk about honoring your father and mother so that you may get freedom. Now, Eli's got some rope tied around his waist. He's got a big spool of rope over here, and this rope is going to represent freedom in your life. So, Eli, how much freedom do you have right now? Like, if you were trying to go somewhere, can you try to, you can't get very far because there's not a whole lot of freedom that I'm holding in my hand. But if we're to take what Paul says seriously, and if we're to honor our family, if you are to give your family respect as a student, if you're to obey your family, and as you're to love your family, you're giving your family a reason to trust you. And so as trust is building up over here with your family, it starts to spool out over here as freedom. And now all of a sudden, Eli, you've got a whole lot of freedom, and you can run and you can make your own choices like you maybe haven't been able to before. And now come back a little bit closer because I want everybody to see this. Who is holding all the freedom and the potential for freedom right now? Eli's holding all of the freedom and all of the rope that represents freedom in his life. It's not like your family is holding this big spool of freedom saying, I'm just going to wait to give it to you. Your family's not holding the spool of freedom. You are holding the potential for freedom in your life. And students, let me give you the secret. Your family wants to give you more freedom. They want to give you more of that freedom rope on this side, but you're holding the spool of potential of freedom, and that's where you honor and you care for and you respect your family. Your family wants to give you that freedom, but the ball's in your court. You're holding all of the potential as a student. So what would it look like for you to take Paul's advice seriously and to start with honoring and caring and respecting so that your family can pass you more rope as freedom? Thanks, Eli. I appreciate you, dude. And so I want us to be very careful as we wrap up with this, that we don't do the honor thing just to get more freedom for selfish reasons, because this can turn selfish really, really quickly. But we do it because it's the right thing to do. We honor our families because God has called us to honor our families. And sure, it gets us freedom in return, and we get to enjoy life maybe a little bit more in return, but we do honor, we respect, we care for, we love our families because it's the right thing to do. And so as we wrap up, I want you to grab a piece of paper and a pen, or grab your phone and write down 3 words. I want you to write down the word keep, I want you to write down the word stop, and I want you to write down the word start. I think that you are all great people. I see you, even though it's through a camera lens. You're great people. You're probably already doing a lot of things that are honoring your family, and you're probably already getting some freedoms in your life. So keep doing some of those things that work. So write down next to the word keep, what are you doing that you want to keep doing that's honoring your family? And another thing I know about you, because we're human, we're not going to get this right all the time. We're going to do things that dishonor our family. So right next to the word stop, write down something you want to do to stop doing that's dishonoring to your family and that you want to make it right with your family. And then the last thing is start. What is something you want to start doing today that you haven't done before that will honor your family and that will show your family that you care about them as you are desiring more freedom in your life? Because as you honor your family, you're building trust. And as trust grows, freedom grows with it. Have a great Sunday, guys. We'll see you next week.